Hi, I'm Jeff from New York. Please like and subscribe.
Young Billionaire, Season 2, Episode 25. You're my friend now.
Alright, don't think about it now. Try to calm down.
Saying that Slayer was distraught, Jeff held his shoulders and tried to comfort him. Slowly he started to relax.
Let me ask you a question.
Jeff said,
Who do you think really sees you as an equal, Jasper or me?
Slayer thought about it seriously for a moment and said softly,
You?
Good, good.
Jeff said, and then he was quiet. He felt that Slayer had made great progress by seeing the truth.
Do you think that what Jasper told you to do was right?
He continued,
No, but he's my employer, and he saved me. I must do what he says.
Slayer replied. Jeff said resolutely,
You know that I'm right. You've been completely brainwashed by him. I hope that you can see that now, and that you'll stop helping him do these terrible things in the future.
He looked at Slayer and asked him,
Slayer, what's your real name?
My name is Daniel Wiggins.
Danny, good name.
Jeff laughed.
You're my friend now, Danny. Let's go out for a few beers sometime.
Friends.
Danny mumbled in a daze. He looked at Jeff with a small smile, but he still couldn't believe what he had just said. He asked,
You said I'm your friend.
Yes, we're friends. Of course.
Jeff said with a smile. Danny lowered his head and wiped away his tears. Friend, how much he'd yearned to have a friend over the years.
A man doesn't cry easily. If you cry again, I'll feel very awkward.
Jeff said with a smile.
I wasn't crying.
Danny replied. He finally had a friend, and he didn't want to make his new friend feel awkward.
Danny, if Jasper asks you to kill me again, will you do it?
No, I won't kill my friends, and I won't let them be bullied either.
He answered without hesitation.
That's great, buddy.
As Jeff patted his shoulder, Danny's face broke into a broad smile. It was the first genuine smile of his life.
I should go. If Jasper can't find me, he'll get angry.
He said to Jeff.
All right, but please remember what I said.
Danny could see no pity, no discrimination, and no mockery. In Jeff's eyes, there was only friendship. He nodded and was about to leave when his gaze shot toward Haley.
Haley, go hug Danny.
Jeff said to her. Ariel pushed her forward, but Haley tried to hide behind her. Jeff smiled awkwardly at Danny. He could guess how crushed his friend would feel by the child's reaction, so he walked over to her. He squatted in front of her and said,
Haley, Danny saved you. He's your friend, and it'll make him very sad if you're still scared of him.
But he's a ghost,
she said as she hugged Ariel, obviously still afraid of Danny's face. Jeff sighed. Jeff got into the car and drove to the police station with Ariel and Haley. They wanted to find out who was behind Haley's abduction and their motive. The officer in charge of their case led them to the interrogation room. Through the window, they saw that the two kidnappers were being questioned by the police. From the solemn expressions and furrowed brows of the two officers, Jeff guessed that the interrogation was not going well. 2 hours later, the officers exited the interrogation room. Jeff and Ariel had also finished giving their statements, so they approached the officers and asked them what they had learned from the two suspects.
They seem to be seasoned criminals. They're not giving much away under interrogation, but don't worry, we have a lot of evidence. They'll definitely end up behind bars.
They promised Jeff.
Thank you, officer.
Jeff said respectfully. Ariel nodded slightly to express her gratitude. Haley was still asking the two officers for banana candies.
Let's go.
Jeff suggested to Ariel. It didn't look like there were going to be any answers that day, and it was already dark. Just as they were leaving the police station, a distinguished-looking man in his 40s walked out from an office. All the police officers turned and looked at him with respect. Commissioner. One greeted him. Another said,
Commissioner Gordon.
Another simply greeted him.
Boss.
This middle-aged man was the police commissioner. He acknowledged his subordinates with a nod. His brows were deeply creased, and he was clearly worried. The commissioner addressed the two officers who had been interviewing the suspects and whispered a few words to them. Finally, he waved his hand and said,
Go.
They walked reluctantly to the holding cell. When the commissioner saw Jeff and the others, he walked over and said,
I'm so sorry about this. I want to convict these men, but it's been taken out of my hands. I'm under a lot of pressure from my seniors.
Jeff and Ariel didn't understand what the commissioner was apologizing about. Then they saw the two suspects smugly walking out from the detention cell. Ariel grabbed Jeff's arm and asked in shock.
Commissioner, you're not releasing them.
The commissioner could only grimace and reiterate.
Sorry, it's out of my hands.
One of the suspects walked up to Ariel and said brashly,
Hey, Miss Jimenez, we meet again.
You wanted to leave now. Leave.
The commissioner cursed angrily. He was struggling to hold on to his temper with these two thugs. One of the suspects said,
Commissioner Gordon, you'd better treat us with a bit more respect. If Mr. Doom wants your badge, he only has to say the word to the chief.
He was sure that Victor Doom was behind their release. The commissioner could only glare at them and try to suppress his anger. He knew that he couldn't afford to lose his temper with these two suspects.
You coward!
One of them scoffed arrogantly at the commissioner before shifting his gaze to Haley, who was hiding behind Ariel. With a sinister smile, he said,
Little girl, I didn't get to keep you this time, but watch out. I'll definitely be coming for you again.
As he spoke, he moved to pinch Haley's cheeks. A figure stood in front of him. When he looked up, he saw Jeff's face glaring at him with a stone-cold smile. Although Jeff had beaten them before, now that they knew they had Victor Doom's support, they were no longer afraid of him. One of them pointed at Jeff and spat out.
Get out of my way. Do you know who I work for? If you don't move right now, I guarantee you'll regret it.
Jeff replied calmly.
Really? No, I have no idea who you scum work for. Why don't you tell us?
The other suspect said to Jeff,
I think you must have a death wish. Listen, we work for Mr. Victor Doom. Now, are you afraid?
I don't know anything about Victor Doom, but from where I'm standing, you're just a couple of scumbags who don't deserve any respect.
Jeff's eyes showed a trace of coldness. He asked himself,
Who is Victor Doom? What does he have to do with everything that's been going on?
The suspect stood in front of Jeff, shouting,
Screw you, you crazy piece of shit. You want to hit me? Go on then.
Bam! Jeff beat him down to the ground with a punch.
Damn, you really do want to fight.
The other suspect said in surprise. Before he could say anything else, Jeff's fist landed on his nose, and he instantly joined his friend on the ground. The two suspects pointed at Jeff and complained to Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, he hit us right under our nose. Quick, arrest him.
Commissioner, you heard them yourself. They asked me to hit them.
Jeff said innocently. Then he thanked the police officers and said goodbye, and left with Ariel and Haley. Watching them go, the commissioner sighed. He had been under pressure to let the two suspects go. The reason for the order was that they were hoping that they would lead them to capture much bigger fish. Their real goal was to bring down the whole criminal gang that these two low lives are part of. Jeff took a cab home with Ariel and Haley. Ariel cooked dinner, and then coaxed Haley to sleep. Jeff was sitting on the sofa in the living room when Ariel came out of her daughter's bedroom. He called her over.
Why has someone been coming into your home and assaulting you?
Jeff asked gravely.
What?
She looked flustered.
What are you talking about? Who's been coming into my home?
Ariel stopped lying to me. Today Haley told me that men sometimes come into your home, drag you into the bedroom, and beat you up.
When she heard that he already knew about her situation, Ariel sat down on the sofa, dejectedly.
What's going on? Tell me, maybe I can help you.
Jeff said gently.
You can't help me, but I will tell you what's going on.
She said calmly.
I used to be in a relationship with this great guy. We were very happy. He was well respected by everyone, and he protected me. No one would dare bother me while he was around.
She continued.
But then something happened, and he was forced to leave New York. Without his protection, I started to get harassed.
Who is this man? Why did he abandon you?
Jeff asked. His first thought was that this must be a scumbag.
It's not that he abandoned me. He had no choice but to leave.
She looked at Jeff and continued.
Do you know about the Dragon Gang Society? He was one of the society's leaders. 2 months ago, the society was completely demolished by a guy from one of the city's powerful families. No one from the society was allowed to stay in New York, so my partner had to leave.
The Dragon Gang Society?
Jeff was stunned when he heard this. He and Kenneth Stokes had been responsible for the extermination of the Dragon Gang Society. He realized that the guy Ariel was talking about, who forced her boyfriend away, was him. He said stupidly,
I heard that the Dragon Gang Society was one of the poisonous tumors of New York. Surely this young guy did a good thing.
A good thing?
Ariel's eyes were cold as she said angrily,
He forced my man to leave, and he is therefore personally responsible for my situation. What's so good about that? Why do you think everyone from the Dragon Gang Society must be bad? My partner is a good and honest man.
She continued.
After the Dragon Gang Society was destroyed, all the gangs of New York, big and small, rose up again. When my man fled, there was no one to protect me. They come to my house whenever they feel like it, under the pretext of collecting protection fees from me. I'm just a woman. I can't do anything to stop them.
Ariel's tears were falling to the ground like pearls from a broken necklace.